Thanks for being here.
All right.
Oh, please. We will check with you later, okay? See you later.
Dan?
Oh, Steve. They're gone. Yeah, it sounds pretty terrible, doesn't it? They're gone.
You didn't have to come to work today, Ann. Jessie would have understood if you stayed home.
Oh, I wouldn't want to stay home rattling around the house alone. No.
Oh, I guess it's better to stay busy, isn't it?
Yes.
Steve?
Hi, Steve.
Oh, hi. Lesley, Rick. Ann just told me that Jeff and PJ are on their way.
Yes, they are. No hitches at all. Everything went fine.
I just had a terrific idea. How about us all going out to lunch together? You know, make it kind of a family thing today. I think we could all use some propping up.
Oh, you're so right. I don't know about Audrey. She has a luncheon speech to make today, I believe. But I'll check with her.
Well, I have a couple of phone calls to answer, and I have, I think, 3 patients to see, and then I'm clear.
Fine. Just let us know when you're ready.
All right.
Yeah, I've got to check on some patients myself. Ann, hang in, okay?
Thank you. Now, I think I've convinced myself that Jeff will be as close as the nearest phone. He'll probably call you the minute he sets foot in Carson City. Yeah. You know, I think the worst thing was seeing his face. It must have been terrible for him seeing Heather show up just when he was leaving for the airport. It was not the world's most wonderful moment. Yeah, I can imagine.
All the more reason to believe that Jeff did the right thing by taking his son away from Heather. Excuse me.
Hi, Amy. Hi. Joe Kelly, what are you doing here?
Nice to see you, Amy.
I thought we were having lunch alone. Why are you with Joe?
It's all right, Amy. You see, the bus I took in from Forest Hills arrived a little bit early, so I decided to go over to the Weber house and say hello to my mother. When I arrived there, Jeff was just leaving with Steve and Lars to take him away from Port Charles.
Oh, Heather, that's awful.
It was quite a jolt for me. I was just telling Joe here that I am trying to understand why Jeff felt he had to do something so drastic.
Joe, I'm sure that Heather has some very personal feelings she would like to discuss with me privately.
That's why I brought her by, Amy. But I'd like to get at least a cup of coffee for my efforts. And I want to make sure that Heather's calm, because that was quite a jolt.
I know you, Joe Kelly, and you're just butting in, that's all.
Heather, would you like a cup of tea?
You got your customer, and you got your soup. This is Rose's special, made fresh today from yesterday's whatever you left and didn't eat.
Look, Spencer, one of these days...
Oh, come on, Rose. Yeah, Eddie's he's a regular. He knows I'm only kidding, don't you, huh?
Yeah.
Could you excuse me for one moment so I can make a phone call?
Oh, sure, go right ahead.
I'm calling the Board of Health.
Hello.
Slick. Hi, it's Luke. I'm at the diner. Can you drop around? Yeah. Well, no, it's important. We're about to make our next move, pal. Look, I can't go into it on the phone. You know that. I'm at the diner. Get here when you can, all right? Thank you, Slicker. See you later.
Luke, long time no see.
Robert!
Yes.
Slumming again?
Of course. I thought I'd pop in for maybe a spot of indigestion, maybe a spot of information.
Well, indigestion we always have for you. Information, we fresh out, pal.
Tell me about this Klutz person.
Mrs. Lutz.
Laura was rather forthcoming in information about it, but I need to fill in a few little gaps. Now, look, I know it can't be love with you and this space brain. So that just brings up one question. What does a person like that have to do with the Ice Princess? Please, look, have a seat on me. Take 5. B, talk with me.
Robert, my goodness, thank you. It is a pleasure to sit with an intellect like yourself.
I know. Look, I'm interested in this Plutz.
Lutz.
Oh.
Emma Lutz. I would appreciate it if you would not besmirch the name of a woman I am growing very fond of.
Sounds like a romance made in heaven.
Just might be, pal. It feels like a Gothic novel to me. I find it very romantic. Why else would I take a woman like Mrs. Lutz to a place like the Versailles Room?
I'll pick up that cue. Why else?
You know something? I really am not going to be very happy if you try to move in on me with this woman.
Rest assured, you're going to get no competition for me in that direction. But let's face it, every person you see has to do with the Ice Princess. Your whole lifestyle is related to that end.
Isn't that interesting? I've noticed the same thing about you.
Look, where does...
Emma Lutz.
Whatever.
Emma Lutz. L-U-T-Z Lutz. Where does she fit in? I'm sorry. Why should I tell you? You must know everything. You follow me around. You know all my friends. How come you don't know this?
Well, I need a few gaps filled in. I mean, why else would I be here?
Exactly. You sure don't like the food in this cheesy
or the
joint. Or the coffee.
Look, I wish you'd level with me. We could be a good team still, if you'd stop being so stubborn.
Robert, I think it's time you leveled with me.
I thought I had.
Really? Things don't fit, Scorp.
What doesn't fit? My clothes?
No, your clothes are fine. I'm talking about I'm seeing two Robert Scorpios.
Well, get your face out of the cooking claret.
That may have something to do with it. However, the other thing is, what is this? You tell me you own a diamond mine and you're an international financier.
All of which are correct.
Uh-huh. Then why are you acting so out of character?
Am I? I'm sorry. Give us a hint.
You hire silly little bimbos to follow unimportant people like me around.
Well, I've got to do my bit for the unemployment rate.
Oh, you're all hard, aren't you?
I didn't know you cared.
Listen, I'll tell you, there's something else that really bothers me.
What?
That night. The night we were in the warehouse battling a couple of what had to be Cassadine's men.
I remember it well.
I'm sure you do. You handled yourself like a pro, pal.
Well, you weren't bad either.
Thank you. However, I have lived in the streets. You fought like a street fighter. I mean, what is an international financier doing fighting like a street person?
Well, some of those boardroom meetings can get pretty rough.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. Let me tell you one thing. I would like to see the real Robert Scorpio stand up and be counted as one person. And if not, I just might have to make sure Laura Baldwin doesn't see you anymore.
Oh, please don't do that. You really think you can, okay?
I can do it in a second.
Just like that?
Just like that.
You really think you've got that much control over the situation?
Oh, you would be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Look, let me tell you something. The young lady happens to be quite attracted to me, and I find myself becoming more and more enamored with her every day. So if you can't stand the competition, go back to the kitchen.
As a matter... Oh, do you need me in the kitchen, Rose?
No, everything's fine. Look, actually, I want to congratulate you, Mr. Scorpio. I heard you won that big dance contest at the disco.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Rose. Yes, well, I did manage to get on the winning ticket despite all the confusion.
What confusion? What?
Well, I went with Laura and I danced with Bobbie. If you'd been there, maybe we could have had a dance too.
Can I sit here? Sure, fine.
No, I really feel sorry for Anne. Loving Jeff the way she loves him and not being able to marry him because of Heather.
I guess life can be pretty complicated sometimes, can't it?
Yeah. Love is so wonderful, but it sure can cause a lot of heartache sometimes.
I'll tell you, there are times when I'm very glad I don't have a man in my life.
Jessie, are you sure you don't?
You know I'm not saying that anymore.
Yeah, but sometimes don't you wish you still were?
You know, I don't even know how to answer that question.
Jessie, I really need to talk to you about Dan.
Why?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to butt in, but I kind of feel like I have to because it involves my Aunt Ruby.
Oh, I see.
Did you know that Ruby's going to stop seeing Dan?
Well, no, I didn't. Why would she do that?
Well, because Ruby's noticed that you have projected a certain kind of coolness towards her, and she doesn't want to hurt your feelings.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Bobbie, that's Ruby's imagination.
Jessie, I don't think it's her imagination. I mean, you have been a little bit cool to her. I mean, I don't mean that you've said or you've done anything deliberately unkind. I know you wouldn't do something like that. But you have really been a little bit cool to her. And Ruby thinks the world of you. She doesn't want to do anything to hurt you.
Oh, dear. Well, I did admit to Dan that I've been feeling a little jealous. There was nothing I meant to convey to Ruby. I feel awful about that. I'll find her and apologize.
I think the important thing is how you feel. What do you really want, Jessie?
Bobbie, I don't know what I want. I mean, I lie in bed at night, and I toss and I turn, and I wonder why I can't make a commitment to anybody, Dan or anybody else. And I think maybe it's kind of a deep down fear of being hurt.
You've had a lot of hurt in the past, haven't you?
Well, there have been some bad times. There are for everybody, but there have been good times, too. Maybe it's just that as you get older, you get a little more cautious. But I do want to straighten this out with Ruby because I respect her and I like her, and I certainly don't want to hurt her any more than she wants to hurt me. So anyway, what's been happening in your life?
Absolutely nothing in the love department, that's for sure.
What about the dates with Joe Keller?
Oh, Joe's nice, but we're just friends.
What happened the night you went to the dance contest? Was that fun?
That night was so complicated, I don't even know what happened that night.
Complicated?
Yeah. I ended up winning the dance contest, but I never even got a chance to dance with Joe. The whole thing is just too difficult to explain. It seems like it's always that way whenever my brother is running the show.
You kind of lost me.
Well, anyway, the point is, Joe and I feel too much like pals to get romantically involved right now.
Somebody's going to walk through that door one of these days. You'll see.
Could be. Did you know that Dr. Hardy is bringing a new doctor on staff here? And his name is Noah Drake, and he just happens to be the same Noah Drake that I met in New York at the medical convention.
And you're excited about seeing him again, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't get to know him that well, but I got real good vibes.
Well, I see your other employers are prominent in the papers today.
Oh, really? What's that?
Yeah. Well, it says here there's going to be an art auction for the benefit of General Hospital headed up by Mrs. Edward Quartermain.
That's nice, isn't it? She's a very classy lady.
Yeah. You know, sometimes we forget that wealthy people do a lot for us with their benefits, charities, you know, whatnot.
Yeah, maybe they do.
Yeah, you know, I should look upstairs and see what I have to donate.
Rose, I didn't know you collected art objects.
Oh, yeah, big-time art collector. What, are you kidding? Of course not. But I have some paintings.
You do?
Yeah. Actually, they're watercolors. There was a man who lived above the loft there, and he was an artist, and he used to pay some of his food bills by painting watercolors of the waterfront. Really nice things, too. In fact, I gave one of them to Rick Weber as a Christmas present.
Oh, that's a nice gift.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody seemed to think he was real talented, and I should look around, see how many I have left. I'd like to show them to you.
The eggs. Excuse me.
Get the eggs.
Look, about this klutz.
Emma-lots, no comment.
Oh, come on.
Listen, let me tell you something. I think it's my turn to ask the questions. Do you mind? Thank you. The calling card you got from Cassadine the day of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Did you follow up on it?
No comment.
Which means, of course, you did. Have you met with him?
Well, whatever I did, I'm not about to tell you, am I?
What are you trying to do, Robert? Make a partnership with the Cassadines now?
Stay tuned for the next exciting episode.
I'm telling you something. I know that you must have at least arranged a meeting.
Listen, I gave you the chance to have a partnership with me, but you turned it down because of this misguided loyalty you seem to have towards Alex Quartermain.
I also work for Edward Quartermain. Do you mind?
Listen, there isn't a Quartermain alive that wouldn't throw you to the dogs if need be.
In your opinion,